Right, good evening, guys. Hope you're all well. Give us a thumbs up in the chat. Let us know you can hear us okay. Say hello to each other. Remember, this is our Wednesday, 7 o'clock KBBA Academy Business Coaching Clinic. And we'll be starting off tonight by bringing Lee in early. So we'll be here with you in a minute or two while I'm just getting warmed up. He's putting his makeup on in the next room, and I'm going to reveal all very shortly. So we're going to do the check-ins first tonight. So just to give you the order of running, we've got 6 check-ins that are suitable for the stream. So we'll be doing them tonight first, very shortly. And then the Academy, specifically the 12 steps, and quite a lot of things in the Academy have been updated this week and are continuing to be updated. There's a lot of updates coming your way. Changes to the WhatsApp groups. We're moving in a different direction there. Still be WhatsApp. It'll still be very similar, but we're just moving to a more structured system so things aren't getting missed. So there's lots of exciting stuff coming there. Lots of different help and support options will be within the Academy when you're logged in and within the app. So when you're on the go, so you'll have much more access to structured help and support instead of just dumping things in WhatsApp, which is, I know, the habit we're all in, but things do get missed. I feel bad sometimes when I look back through the chat and someone's dropped a message into me and I've missed it. I don't want to do that. And then, but to be honest with you, it's happened quite a lot. And the more members that are coming in, the busier things are getting. I don't want people to think that I'm ignoring them or that anyone's ignoring them. But, WhatsApps do get missed and it's irritating. So we need to sort of move to still a WhatsApp system but also linked in with some sort of like form where you'll ask for support properly, a bit like the check-ins. Because we want to support you massively in doing the check-ins, asking for help and support in the Academy. When Lee comes on shortly, obviously, he's mentioned he's got a gripe already that the workbooks in the Academy, you're not using them. So if you've not got one or you've not downloaded it or you've not received one in the post, the 12 steps has a workbook with the lessons in it. And everybody should know where these lessons are. And people still ask questions and it's like, you should know this stuff. A lot of the time, you should know where that lesson is and where that piece of information is. The search bars in the Academy, there's so many things that people aren't using. So we need to tighten this up. We've got to get better at using the resources that are in front of you. So I'm going to bring Lee in, give him a nice warm welcome when he comes in shortly. And we're going to get on with the check-ins. And then I'm going to go through all the changes in the Academy straight after that. Changes to Inner Circle that was suggested at the meeting last week. The 12 steps, there's quite a lot of stuff in there. The Which, obviously, partnership that we're now in. And then membership services has had another big update as well for those people that are struggling and need that little bit of a arm around the shoulder. So, right, let's bring Lee in. Here he is.
Oh, sorry, I was just putting my lipstick on.
Well, at least it's on that end of your body.
It was either lipstick or war paint. I'm not sure which one I needed tonight.
Yeah. It's all right to put things in that hole. It's the other one. Right,
let's do these check-ins. Some good check-ins, but and we'll start off with Oliver from OMP Interiors. So, celebrating wins. Finally completed a backlog of work that had been pushed back from last year, starting to accumulate reviews from works, and we'll start creating case studies, optimizing 90 minutes after the advice from the KBB live event.
Yeah. Good.
And I think it's really important that because he's obviously focusing on what we always talk about, which is, getting these case studies on. We got to go in one a month, haven't we? Minimum one a month.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it is a bit of an own goal from us on some respects, but I think I can't remember who it was at the event. I managed to keep my cool, but somebody said at the event that, someone said they signed up for Academy Plus in October and they'd not done nothing, not sent a case study in go because someone said they'd get in touch with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, whether someone said that or not, you don't fucking wait 3 months to ask the question, do you?
Absolutely not.
No. So when you go into Academy Plus, just for those that are doing it, you should be sending case studies in. It is in the Academy. If you go to submit case studies, it's in the Academy Plus logo as well. I think that's another thing we need to change as well. The Academy Plus logo probably wants a bit of an update because it looks very, very similar to the normal Academy logo. It doesn't really stand out. So I think that's something else we need to look at. But anyway, side issue.
So that's good, and definitely optimizing his 90 minutes. So, he's got some key things to focus on there. 12 steps transition, steps 7 and 8, surveying like a pro, starting to order branded clothing, brochures, samples, and looking at getting my van wrapped. And the cash flow's looking good and telling me that I can spend. So, which leads on to sort of the scorecard, that he's doing his scorecard and cash flow sheets religiously. And he uses both of these almost every day now. So he's not sure if that's too much.
There's no such thing as too much looking at your numbers. Again, if you live and breathe your numbers, then you live and breathe your numbers, don't you?
Yeah.
People that and people that live and breathe numbers tend to do well in business.
Yeah. So did you manage to have a look at his scorecard that I sent through?
I did a little. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't see the bits on the left-hand side. Oh yeah, I can see them now. Yeah. Let me just have a look. 1 minute. Yeah, I mean, we need to be increasing proposals signed for sure. Where's the cash coming from? Is that coming from labour only jobs potentially?
Yeah, I think at the moment it's coming from the smaller jobs that he's winning.
Yeah, which is fine, but obviously we've got activity at the top. He's following a typical trend. I'm not concerned because he's still getting things moving. There's a couple of green shoots appearing here and there, which is the main thing. But the good thing is he's not afraid to see it when it's red. I think that's the main thing.
That was my ultimate feedback is that it isn't Luke. If you're to look at it initially, you go, "Oh my god, that's terrible," but actually it's not.
Yeah, I think the other thing that needs adjusting on this scorecard, though, I think the targets are way too high.
Yeah.
10 followed up quotes a week. Leads of any quality 5 is well too high. So if it was me, social media posts at 5 is fine. Express interest on jobs on my builder and etc. I'd probably leave that at 5. Followed up quotes, well, it's 10, so you can't have double that number. So that number needs to come down dramatically to no higher than 5. Leads of any quality of any call. So we want to be converting our leads any quality. Yeah, 5, 3, 2. Quotes sent 2. Yeah, so they look okay. Follow-up quotes looks a bit high. I'd probably just tweak the numbers down a little bit based on where he's actually at and what he actually needs right now. If it's 1 job a month, adjust it to 1 job a month, because some of them reds are unnecessarily red, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And what about the amount invoiced, the bottom one?
Well, he's got cash flow at the end of the day, and I'm assuming it's coming from, he's got 1 job towards the end of last year, which was in the bag. So, there's cash coming in, isn't it, obviously. So he's doing the right thing. And I think the point I'm trying to make here is, even if you're not making sales in terms of supply and fit academy jobs, as people like to call them, or KBB jobs, there's no such fucking thing as a KBB job. This is tracking the numbers in your business, whether they're good, bad, ugly, whatever they are. And he knows what they are. So the good thing is here now, he knows where he needs, this is his base level now. This is where he goes, right, I'm understanding things now. So now he can look at things and go, even though the scorecard looks red all over, then there's green here and there, and there should be more green because the targets are too high, basically. So he needs to bring some of them down. But again, you can see the trend is that proposals signed isn't quite there, but he's still tracking his cash.
Yeah.
But again, when the scorecard's there to see, you can quickly unpick the problems in them straight away. Do you get what I mean? And if he's looking at this, he's now looking at it going, because he's getting leads. This is the only thing I'd probably interrogate here quite a lot is something of probably is what's the real conversion rate? Because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4. I would have expected another sale recently.
Well, I think there's quite a lot of this going on, which I'm going to touch on about investing in the survey, because I think that's key to a lot of people at the minute. So I am looking closely at different people and conversion rates at the moment with people.
Yeah, so quotes sent, there's been, according to this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sent since just before Christmas, 8, 9, 10, 11 since the early December. As far as I'm concerned, he's got 11 fucking quotes out there. Where are they up to? Everything looks right, but that bottom line of proposals signed isn't clicking somewhere. So there's a conversion problem somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is where if he's finding that his conversion rate's not there, that's when you reach out in the group as well.
Yeah. Well, if I'm looking at this business today, and this is why the scorecards help me help people, because I'm looking. If I was walking into this, I always have this mindset of it. If I'm walking to your business tomorrow, what's the first thing I'm going to do based on the date you're giving me? And I'd be getting someone straight on the phone and get your fucking ass on that phone tomorrow. There's 11 quotes there. I want 2 sales out of it by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Literally, get on with that.
Yeah. Well, I think there's 2 key things that I'll follow up with him as well afterwards is relook at those targets and then let's have a look at where his conversion rate is. But I do know, I do feel at the minute, because everyone's quite busy at the minute. There are designs flying in, there's surveys getting booked.
Yeah, but the thing is, when the lads are busy, and this is what there's, while you're busy, or someone else is ringing them customers.
Absolutely.
And that's what you got to remember, is that them customers don't not get it done. Somebody else is having your dinner.
Yeah.
Because while you're thinking, how long does it take to put your tools down? Go back to your van and just make a couple of phone calls.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got time to scroll on fucking Facebook. You got time to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think some people, although the CRM's great and it does follow them up, you can't beat sometimes just picking the phone up and interjecting and just going, what is that?
Everyone's CRM tells them to ring customers, mate. It's part of the process. It's in the sales process. You should be ringing customers up. The CRM's fantastic, but you can't ever replace somebody picking that phone up. There's 11 people, according to this, there's been 11 quotes sent out. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So, 12 if you look at all of December. Where are they? I'd be expecting 2 or 3 sales in by now, or at least customers on. I mean, he might turn around and go, yeah, well, there's 2 or 3 conversations in the background that are happening. That might be the case. It definitely needs to be the case, or there is a problem there. So a bit more context is probably needed there to, but you can see straight away, can't you?
Well, this is it again. It shows why the scorecards are so important, because it does opens up that conversation straight away, and why everybody should be straight onto a scorecard, so we can go, right, that's an action, rather than anecdotal feedback on this is how I feel it's going.
Yeah, because what's interesting is it's not probably, the funny thing about scorecards is the bottom line, the cash line could all be green, and the rest of it could still be red.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? It doesn't. This is what I'm saying. Like, you can get overly emotional about, oh, it's red, I don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
But if the bottom line starts going green and you're still not quite doing stuff at the top, because that can happen, green all the way through is absolute perfection. That's never, it's not always going to happen, is it?
But, well, no, because then you'll end up going, well, push your targets higher.
Yeah. Move the targets up and turn them all red again.
No, that's good. So, personal growth. Since the new year and leaving my job, I'm now not working nights. So I started eating better, drinking more water, started morning press ups. He's yet to get back to running, but he's got no choice because he's got a half marathon booked up at the end of March. But he's got it in the bag. Managing his time much better and planning weeks is a game changing, and claims the stress.
Yeah, well, exercise, all that. So at the next event, we want to see a nice pair of pecs and a 6-pack, really. If he's not got that, he's full of shit, isn't he?
He'll have to come and start wearing his shorts all the time, like Josh as well, to show off his running legs. Right, areas for support. Not had many kitchen or bathroom surveys or sales, but steady flow of work. I'm in for the long game, so I've started increasing touch points. Would like some help on some ideas what I can do to get more kitchen and bathroom jobs, as that's one area I've few jobs from, but overall I have a steady flow of work, so not stressing in that area.
Yeah, but don't let it become a comfort blanket that you don't take proper action. Again, he's not here to give context, but I'm looking at this going, who's ringing them customers? Busy doesn't mean successful. Just because we've got work booked in and the cash flow sheet tells us we're okay, we didn't come to survive, we came to thrive.
Yeah. So concerns, it's just a question. Is it advised not to get a 3D design done for bathrooms? As it seems, I've got to wait a bit longer for designs for bathrooms. Not a moan at all, just curious and would like to know in future to avoid delaying responses back to customers.
Yeah, don't be giving it says this again in the sales process, not to give customers a design for a bathroom until they've sort of expressed interest that they're happy to go ahead with the quote.
Yeah.
Never once, well, I have, and I regretted it. That's why I stopped doing it. Bathrooms are just not something you give designs out for, in my opinion.
No, well, I don't give a design out for a bathroom until after the design session. Until the customer's really committed to me, then that's when they'll get the design back.
Yeah, and some people disagree, but then again, the people that disagree generally don't have successful businesses, so it's not really a fucking argument. I've done it that way. I've got a successful business, and if you do it the way that people do it that are successful at the end of the day.
I think one of the key reasons why I think it's really helpful not to give that design as well in it away from the first quote, especially for a bathroom, is there's no reason to come back to you. It's the fact that the when you're doing the video and you say to them, when you come back and we'll do the design session, that's when we'll pull everything together and then we'll create your nice picture. Again, it's just setting that expectation of what comes next and what to look forward to, what's the next step in the process.
Yeah, remember what we said at the event about touch points, and I'm going to go through it in a bit actually with the guys after the check-ins about touch points, because they're going to be such a big talking point moving forward. Again, they're not something I put in early days in the academy because it's theory, and it's a lot of the psychology around it. But now that everyone's getting a bit more advanced, we're going to start talking more about touch points. So when the customer doesn't have reasons to communicate with you, once you give them an exit, the touch points stop there. Do you get what I mean? So this thing with the design thing, if you want to go into the psychology of why you don't do it, is every customer's a bit of a snake. At the beginning of the journey, everyone's going to look for an out and what they can get out of you to take somewhere else and get a better deal. Everyone's got that mindset at the beginning, but you've got to get them to a position where they just love you and they just want to do business with you. Once you get them to that point, it doesn't matter after that. But you've got to get them to that point. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So if you give the design too early on a bathroom, there's just too many people that are cheap. As soon as they've got a 3D plan and a product list, they could just take that to some guy who's cheap and whatnot. And do you get what I'm saying? A lot harder with a kitchen. That's why people give designs with kitchens, because it never goes through first time. There's always amends. There's always this. There's always that. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot more complicated. But you will basically throttle your opportunity to keep the touch points moving and to keep the trust building, because you've given them a route out very early on in the sales process.
Yeah, and it's that whole value proposition again, isn't it? It's that fear of, if you give them enough information to show them that you are the best and how well you're going to look after them, to go anywhere else is a risk. And is the risk worth saving a couple of quid?
And you know what? Some customers won't, and I'm not saying everyone's like that, but I always have this saying is, it's like when people have opinions about stuff and they go, well, I've done it this way, and it's like when someone, I had a conversation with someone once where it was like, oh yeah, well, I did this one a few weeks ago and the customer just didn't even have a design session. They just went ahead straight away. And I'm like, 1 in 10 times that might happen, right? But if you build your whole business process around it, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Because the other 9 that you didn't expect to do it a different way. And you're like, oh, hang on, this isn't how I built my process. So you build your process one way. And some customers wouldn't have took the piss if you did it the other way. But that's a small percentage in the grand scheme of what you're trying to get. You're trying to get the most fish in the net at the end of a fishing trip at the end of the day. And you have to have one way to fish. You can't go out fishing different times every time you go out fishing, because you'll never know which way works. And all right, on different days, different things can garner different results. But the point being is that when you find something that gets a good enough conversion rate, and you can get good at doing it that way, that's why you stick to that way. And that's why when people get distracted with things and, I've seen this and I can do that, and they try and change things and they get distracted with stuff. It's like, no, stay focused on that process. Yes, sometimes it won't be perfect, but it will be perfect enough of the time for you to build a business out of it.
And not to labor it too much, but the great thing about following that process religiously and every time is if there is a conversion problem, generally you can find out where the fallout point is very, very quickly. So, well, actually, your problem is, and I've done it so many times, I've said, you've got no conversion because you're not getting people to design session. And immediately I'll watch the video and say, you're not telling them to book a design session. You tweak that, you're done. So it's loads of good reasons why.
Well, we have a trade partner that I keep in contact with quite a lot, who for some reason won't join the academy, but he does a lot of sales with us. And he comes to me every now and then for advice. And I said to him a few weeks ago, and this has been going around for fucking months now, years even. And he always has a slightly different way of doing it to what we do it. But then he wants my advice on his way.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? And as I said to him a few weeks ago, I said, I'm not having this fucking conversation with you anymore. I said, I'm not even asked if you fuck off and use someone else. I've just got so bored of this. Just do it our way or fuck off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not having this conversation with you anymore. Yes, all right, you might have got some unicorn result from doing it this different way once or twice, but you don't build a 10, 15-year business out of changing your tact every time, and just always skitting and doing things differently from one month to the next. That's just not what businesses do, successful ones.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So get out of that headspace. Which again, we're going right off on a tangent here, but what we're trying to hammer home is that the one process, and just accept that sometimes that rigid process won't convert certain types of people. And sometimes, you could have done things differently and it might have won the job, but you've got to stick to your guns. You've got to go, no, that's the fucking process. That's what I'm sticking to, because you can get good at it. And when when it's rinse and repeat, you can get good at it. When you're changing it all the time, it's very difficult to get good at it.
Yeah. Right, so looking ahead, what's the plan? So his plan for the next 6 weeks will be to complete his first bathroom installation, get more surveys for kitchen and bathrooms, and get on top of his social media and take actions from the live event. Good. So, yeah, it was a good check-in that. I quite enjoyed seeing that. And it was really refreshing to see a really good scorecard.
Yeah, and I think just to give the final piece of feedback there, it's another member that is not rushing, not riding the ups and downs, not afraid of looking at the real numbers, not afraid of reality, knows where they are on the scale, has their ego under control, he's following the process properly, and has got all the signals that in a year from now, they're going to be an absolute diamond, and I think that's the main thing, is just keep going with that attitude and you won't have a problem.
No, well, he'll be heading to Inner Circle in 12 months, won't he? That's where he's...
I mean, the thing is, Inner Circle and Gold aren't like, you have to be superhuman. You just need to be consistent and just keep going. You'll get there. At some point, we're just going to turn around and go, right, you're doing well enough now. You stuck to the process enough times. Because basically all Inner Circle and Gold is, we're just happy to promote your business publicly. That is ultimately what Gold is.
Yeah.
It makes your business better. There are some extra benefits at Gold, 100%, but it's just basically people that we are absolutely confident that if we give them that gold badge and we promote their business and stand next to them publicly, they're not going to let us down. They're not going to make us look like idiots or make themselves look like idiots, And that doesn't mean that, people that don't get invited yet that they would make us look like idiots, but everyone progresses at different times. Do you know what I mean? I've got every confidence that in the next 12 months, you'll be having a conversation with him and saying, right, you need to
the signals are there. Signals and both mentally and work ethics wise and everything, systems, it's all pointing in the right direction. It's all pointing to that North Star, which is good to see.
And sustainable, because that's the one thing I'm looking at Gold, because I know you'll invite into Inner Circle, but ultimately I'll make the decision on Gold.
Yeah.
And what I'm looking for at Gold, ultimately, when that person, if they're consistent, I've said this loads of times, if they've only had a good month or two and they're a bit of a loose cannon and they're like doing good 1 minute and then down the next, that's not a good signal.
No.
These are bad signals, because I want businesses in Gold that are going to be there in 5 years' time. And people that take it slow and are realistic about everything along the way, if the trajectory is like this, I'm way more comfortable knowing that's a long-term member. People that do this, and or bump like that and then disappear. It's like, it's just you can't get behind people that can't just make steady progress. And don't get me wrong, there's very few people in the academy now that give me any sort of worries at all. I think we've flushed a lot of that out now.
Yeah.
But that's just a little bit of a heads up for people to know that, like I said in the inner circle meeting, it's not about loads of sales. You don't need to be making loads of sales to get an invite to inner circle. You need to just be showing that you're going to be here in a few years' time and that we can bet on you at the end of the day. That's what we're really looking for.
Yeah. Right. So this next check-ins was a nice surprise to see, because some of it that we know very well been around for a while. So it's Mick from MKS.
Right. Has he not been building buggies and falling off bikes recently with his shoe flicking in the air?
Yeah, so everyone's context, that was who was in the video at Christmas that been doing the soapbox. So, right.
So how's he getting on?
Yeah, celebrating wins. There's plenty of work coming in and lots of 5-star reviews that help him massively. 12 steps transition, slow progress. I've been trying to change my daughter Lily to take on more of the admin tasks to free up time, but she is beeping useless and hates it in the office. But I think, touching on that, Mick's been in the academy long enough to know what he needs to knuckle down and take.
He just loves it on the tools, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. He just loves his toolbox in his van that much. He just can't tear himself away.
Yeah, it was funny. He rang me just over the Christmas period, and he doesn't speak very often. He just comes in every now and then. There's always something he needs, and he just said, "Do you know what? I just need to grow up." And he knows himself. Yeah.
But it's nice to see someone having fun. But again, I think he said it is a few times. He's there for a long time, not a good time.
Yeah.
And it's true. I think with Mick, you look at him and go, he'll be here in 5 years.
Yeah.
He's part of the furniture, isn't he? He's been here since day one. And, he's good. He loves his job. Customers love him. He's got a nice brand. He obviously turns out good quality work. I think that, like you say, I think his progress will just be steady. I don't think it's going to be. And I don't think it's a worry, basically.
Yeah, and I think to acknowledge where he's come from, I'm sure it was Ren he was originally fitting for, and he's now sustains himself, so he's made progress in his own right anyway.
Yeah.
Scorecard and cash flow sheet, are you using them? He's working on these at the moment, so there's nothing to move forward with there. Personal growth. Managing to talk to my wife about finances without her flipping her shit and throwing plates around the kitchen is a massive win. # couple goals. So, areas for support. I honestly feel like I can't ask for help until I've been through all the videos and complete the tasks. I know all the info is there and I'm slowly getting it together. Getting on top of pricing and using the portal properly will be a big help. I do get bogged down a lot while trying to fudge quotes out quickly, and I know the correct process will be so much easier once I've nailed it.
Yeah, the trade portal's massive. We haven't pushed it as hard as we're going to, but like I said, I'll come on to a bit of that later on after you've left, because the trade portal for everyone now. I think, when did we put the new rates thing in to step 3?
A couple of weeks ago now.
Was it? Yeah. And a number of people have submitted their rates to us now, I believe.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that what happened with Mick as well, and it's common, it's not just about Mick, it was about 6 months ago and he couldn't use the CRM, he said he couldn't do it. And we just sat down and we went through it. And as soon as he looked at it and went, actually, it's really easy, it's dead simple. And he uses it again then. So I think it's just that initial fear of going, do you know, I've just got to sit there and study it. I've just got to, and it doesn't take long. And my biggest bit of advice to everybody when they're learning it is send the test quotes to themselves. Don't feel like they have to practice on real customers. These are things that they should be doing on themselves. Put yourself through the CRM, build yourself a quote, go around your own kitchen, learn the codes. You don't learn anything. Yes, you do learn on the job, but there's no pressure if you're practicing on yourself.
No. And I always used to, it's dead boring, but when the new catalog came out, I would always get the catalog and and know, if any codes had changed, I would, because we all know when we go to a job, I had the stock range that I would always use.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't fucking change it for every customer. If it was a bathroom, I use that range. Yeah. If it was a kitchen, I use that range. And literally that's all I do. No matter what the customer asks for, I just used to give them. If they were really specific, I would change it slightly, but I'd normally say, right, you've asked for a shaker. This is what I've started you on. I've put it in one of the cheaper colours for now. And then I do the same with bathrooms. I say, right, and at your design session, we can make the tweaks. I think sometimes what people do as well on surveys, try to be too specific at the first survey. They try to nail everything in one go, which is another fucking thing not to do.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying there is knowing the codes before, knowing a lot of the codes, not all of them, you can't be that boring, but you can definitely get to a point where before you walk into a survey, you know what it is you're going to offer that customer within reason. You understand what you're going to put into that quote before you go, because and this is like it just makes quoting so much easier, and using the trade portal, knowing your prices, setting your rates. You've got to have these numbers fucking nailed on.
Yeah, but in response to that, he can ask for help because we can help him navigate it through. Anybody can ask for help, but I would be expecting you to at least give it a good old shot. Major concerns. The only major thing holding me back is letting go of perfection. I hold great pride in my work and have the mindset of chasing 5 stars rather than how much money I'm actually making. And having the lads working for me in the past and cocking it up as they're just thinking of money is making it hard for me to trust other installers.
It's a fair point. It's the same thing that we've been through with everyone. You bring people into your business, there's going to be bumps. It's always the way. You won't have it to hand, but I think what he's got to do at some point, he's got to know how many 5-star, how many 5-star reviews is enough 5-star reviews. Does that make sense? Before you then start building your brand in terms of expanding it. But the lucky thing is with him, he's young enough and good enough to do this in his own time. He's got years ahead of him. Do you know what I mean? So he's aware of it. That's the main thing, and I think the next thing is dealing with it, because he's got so many years in front of him. Half of these things aren't even problems at the minute, are they? They're just sort of,
no,
I know what I need to do, but it's not. And I'm not saying he shouldn't take action. He should, but there's definitely stuff that's not that urgent. If he's enjoying himself and he is making money and he's getting 5-star reviews, he's putting case studies in and he's building his brand, I think a pricing review is something I would do with him, mate. Properly.
Yeah, I've just literally done that pricing review.
And just see that he is actually conversion rate pricing. Let's review that and let's see what actually the rewards are for his efforts. Because the first thing I would probably do if I was him and he could make good money, he sort of write off a few months' money of a fitter and sort of get someone next to him, working his way, doing it his way, someone that's a bit more amenable, where you're not just leaving them on the job. Because sometimes what people have got to think of is, I've got to get someone with me, but I want to make sure that I'm happy leaving them on the job.
Yeah.
So, all right, it might be more sensible for 3 to 4 months to write off a big chunk of profit and just stay on the job with them and just double up. Maybe get the jobs done a bit quicker because there's 2 of you, and get working together. Do you get what I mean? So maybe do the jobs a little bit quicker, but do them together. And then over time, ease off. So you're sacrificing profit in the short term while you've got double costs on one job, but you are only stepping away when you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's good because, sometimes you talk about it to certain people about controlled losses and things like that when you need to do it.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like every time we take someone on, that it's fucking 10, 15, 20 grand down the drain before they're actually, trained up to do the job they're doing, because they take up so much of everybody else's time.
Yeah.
And you've got to accept that a business of any size has to have a budget. I know it's not a real budget, but realistically, if you're recruiting someone and you're nervous about it, you do need to have a training budget.
Yeah.
You're going to have to sit and wipe their ass for a bit and make sure they're doing it right, and then step away when you're comfortable. And if that costs you $2,500 a month, $3,000 a month for the next 3 or 4 months, and you get it right, it's well worth it. Because think what you can do after that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, looking ahead for Mick, I know he basically said, "What's the plan?" He says, "I know you're there when I need you, but as you know by now, I'm making slow progress, but progress all the same. The back end of the CRM is still confusing me, so that's just negated everything I said before. I seem to
Let you deal with that.
yeah, and he's heading. I seem to get to accept the quote stage and then transfer over to zero invoice and forget to carry on with the next steps in the CRM. Oh, so that's good. So the sales process part's fine, which is what I was seeing. It's just what happens after that. But for me, that's again, you summed it up there. But he's making slow progress, but progress all the same.
Good.
So that's
Well
Mick.
done.
So well done for that. Right. The next one, Mike from MCM, Mike Kaiser.
Been a long time. Where's he been?
So
Been hiding.
yeah, he went a bit quiet for a while. Well, not quiet, just he needed a bit of time to reflect on where he was. So, celebrating wins, he's back on it with an exclamation mark.
Good.
Getting up early to do the academy.
Good.
12 steps transition, sales process, module 2 halfway through. Scorecard and cash flow sheet, still need to start these. Personal growth, he says, going good. Right, so areas for support. Is there anything specific you need help with? Just direction, what to tackle next, pushing social, touch points in area. It's nice that he's used that language.
Well, he's not the first person tonight to say that word.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's something that, this is why I'm going to go through this later on after the check-ins. This is why I've put it in the academy as its own lesson to talk about these touch points, because they're so fucking important.
Yeah.
And it is like, it only occurred to me probably a few months ago where people kept saying, I don't know why, it just kept working. It just started working, and it's like, well, what? And even we sit there and go, yeah, but what was it? What was it? Even we go down that fucking rabbit hole for like 5 minutes and you go, get back out of there. Because
I did it this morning.
it is hard though, isn't it? Because you look at something and go, oh, it started working. So you try and find what was the thing that got it working.
Yeah.
And the answer is usually it's a few things. It's quite a lot of things. And the root of it is the touch points. The root of it is you're building touch points with customers. And that's why suddenly they start getting in touch. And then suddenly when they start getting in touch, they start saying yes. And you're like, what's going on here? It's like, this is different, and this is the nice thing and I think this is important to mention, that in the first few months of being a member, when you're doing your stuff in your 90 minutes and it's dark and you're thinking, what's the fucking point? I'm not getting any leads. I'm not doing this. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting sales. Your touch points just aren't built up enough yet. And we're just sort of getting them touch points built up over time. And obviously the massive injection of touch points happens as well when you join Academy Plus. As we've seen unanimously, that everybody that is in Academy Plus is at the top of the people that are the most successful, like hands down. We haven't got anyone who does plenty of sales who's not in Academy Plus.
No, I think without ruining the surprise about the new bits in the academy, I think one of the lessons around the stages that you go through in the academy is probably quite prevalent in what Mike's been through and going through. So I think he'll probably enjoy that lesson.
Yeah, no, he will, 100%. I'll come on to that in a bit. It's in the academy though. It's right at the beginning of the 12 steps, but I'm going to go through all the changes in the academy when you've gone.
Yeah. Any major concerns? Nothing really, just talking time. Looking ahead, what's the plan? I just want to keep pushing through everything. Want to start seeing leads coming in through the website.
Yeah, which again, back to the point we've just said, we've got to build them touch points up.
Yeah. Right. John, Radcliffe Kitchens. So, celebrating wins. I've won 3 jobs I've been working on for 4 or 5 months. One's a fit only and one's ready to sign. And he's seen good inquiries this year on.
What, for his website?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is he putting case studies in and stuff, John?
Enough.
Not enough.
12 steps transition. So way up to, this is where I let myself down and lose motivation. When I get home from work, it may be an age thing. And then I'll just going a little bit further with the scorecard and cash flow sheet, are using these, again, this is something I need to practice.
Say that first bit again.
12 steps transition. This is where I let myself down and lose motivation when I get home from work. Maybe an age thing.
Maybe it's other things as well. So, I think, it's like what I said to David Lord at the event, when David Lord said, I'm 64, what do I do? I've been thinking about packing it in. And, the question, I think the older guys don't realise, like I said to David, and I'll say it again about John, they don't realise the asset they've got in terms of they've got something that no one else has got. Like Oliver, for instance, this earlier on with his check-in, he's a young guy. So he's going to be at the disadvantage of people like John and David, because the customer's always going to think John and David before they'll go with Oliver. Do you get what I mean? And I know that's just because they've got a higher chance of success, basically. And I think they don't realise that, these older crew. They don't look at it and go, I could wipe the floor with half these young fuckers in here if I actually they could though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I could make more sales than them if I believed in myself. If I actually believed in myself and stopped fucking about and just got on with it, I could absolutely wipe the floor with half these young pups in here, because I can woo a customer way easier than a young pup, and it's true. And I think they just don't see it for whatever reason. But it's all these fucking stories that people tell themselves.
And it's what they've been told all the time, all the way through the careers.
Yeah, but age equals influence. Yeah. Age equals influence. And when you've got, that's why I don't mind getting a bit older. That's why I'm actually quite glad I'm getting a little bit older, because obviously the position I'm in this business, it actually supports me as an image to the wider world. Do you get what I mean? When you're early 30s, mid 30s, heading up a business like this, people don't fucking take you seriously.
No.
Do you get what I mean? And I know that sounds really daft, but obviously I had really young success in my career, early 20s. Like when I look back, I think, how the fuck did I even do that? And I remember then I had to fucking battle hard. Do you know what I mean? I had to battle hard. And that is why, partly the way I am now, because I've had to fucking fight my way to be here now. But when you get older, you have this aura around you and you have this life experience that people just gravitate towards, and it's such an asset to have in this business, in this venture, in this academy. That is a massive asset that no one else can bottle up.
Yeah.
No one else can have that. Everyone else can do case studies, blogs, essay, all that fucking shit, right? And get leads and all the rest of it. But if you get the same amount of leads as the next guy, you're going to convert more than him. It's as simple as that. I bet my mortgage on that every day of the week.
Yeah.
And I think they've just got to start seeing that and look at the touch points, look at it more strategically and ask us for help. Look at anything in that sales process that's increasing touch points with customers. You're in Academy Plus, so make sure you're uploading your social media. If you can't be asked, get us to do it. It's £75 a month. I don't know where that is actually. We haven't put that in the Academy yet, but because we only did it at the event. But if John wants us to do some more social media for him, get him on that, get him to do more case studies. So we've got more stuff to optimize on the website. Let's have a push on these things and get more leads into John. And because I think if he gets more leads in and he converts more, his confidence starts to grow.
Sure. And the thing is, what John is, and a lot of people are guilty of, is what you mentioned again at the live event, is forgetting where they've come from. And I had to remind John about that the other day, saying, look where you were before. You couldn't use the CRM. You were still writing things. You were sending quotes out on paper and posting them.
People wouldn't have even come to that event 12 months ago.
Yeah.
Think about that. They would never have had a day off. Half of them people in that room, even fucking 6 months ago, wouldn't have had a day off, lost a day's pay to go and listen to me talking bollocks. Do you know what I mean? And then to come and listen to this stuff. But the fact that their brain now says, actually, this is important, go and do it, that in itself is progress. Because a year ago, your brain would have said, what's all this shit? We're not doing that. No, we've got to get this job done. And that's why when people say, I'm not coming because I got to get a job done, that's how I know that the progress isn't quite there yet, because when they can drop out so easily just to get a job done and they haven't got a mechanism to deal with that yet mentally in the real world, it is a sign. You're sort of signaling that you're not quite there yet. And I feel like John comes to enough events, he gets it, but he does a lot of negative self-talk.
A lot, too much.
A lot of negative self-talk. He starts every conversation negatively about himself.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to go into that deeper than anything. That's what he's got to do. He's got to understand what he's doing there. But yeah, get more leads into him, basically. He's got a good asset in himself. And the 12 steps, like, a lot of the 12 steps, like the visibility section, stuff like that. So if you're in Academy Plus, you've done the visibility bit, you've got us possibly doing your social media for you. Other than chasing jobs on online profiles and maybe a bit of networking and just organizing yourself, doing your 90 minutes, you know, that sort of stuff, and making sure that you're staying on top of whatever's happening in the world right now. You know, the Academy is not that difficult when you actually extrapolate out people like look at the 12 steps like it's Mount Everest.
Yeah,
it really isn't. Actually, just when you open up the Academy, open all the lessons up, right? Because I do this sometimes, and I open up all the lessons, and even I do it, and I built it, and I look at that and go, it's not even that big. Like, we talk about these 12 steps like it's a tunnel that goes on for 100 miles.
Yeah,
it's not. You know, and it's like, you should know what to do in your next 90-minute session, because you go, right, okay, let's look at all them 12 steps. Go, right, what do we need to get done next? You know, I've done that. Oh, yeah, I've done that for, you know, fuck it, it's quite self-explanatory. And again, every 90-minute session that you have, you just go, right, that's what I'm going to do next, and increase touch points. So I think one thing we need to do with the 90-minute sessions is start using some more language around everything in your 90-minute sessions should be around increasing touch points. Does this increase touch points, what I'm doing right now?
Yeah.
Social media posts relieve touch points, blogs, case studies, reviews, online profile, you know, all them things, the visibility stuff, anything to do with touch points is what your 90 minutes should be about.
Yeah. Yeah. And then major concerns is just lack of motivation regarding sitting in front of the PC and doing the Academy correctly. The more I don't do, the more I'm disappointed in myself becomes. So that just, again, talks about that negative talk.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is where we're talking in a vacuum. So I hate being in front of my fucking computer. Do you think if I had the choice, I would sit in front of my laptop all day? Like, filming constantly, putting new lessons in the Academy, doing streams, doing this, doing that. I've got like lights in my face here, cameras, and I've just spend hours and hours and hours every day doing this. Do you think I would get out of bed in the morning and go, do you know what I'd love to do today? Sit in a fucking room with no windows and have lights in my face and talk to a camera on my fucking own?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, no, you don't choose these things. But what you choose is what you're getting out of it and what value you're giving to the world. You know, you've got to stop looking at, you know, you eat food to stay alive.
Yeah.
And sometimes we eat food we don't particularly like because it's healthy. But if we focus on the food, we die.
Yeah.
If we focus on, I'm not eating that broccoli, I'm not eating them vegetables because I don't like them, and I'm not going to eat because I don't want to eat, then guess what? You fucking die.
Yeah.
And your business is like that. You've got to do things that keep it healthy, otherwise it dies.
Yeah.
And your business is serving everything else. So if your business is serving the things, like I look at the tasks on my to-do list, and if I can't be asked doing them, that is always the case. I mean, every time I look at it, I can't be asked doing them. That's just like the condition you learn to live with. Do you know what I mean? It's like my next breath is as certain as the same fact that I can't be fucking asked doing what's on my to-do list. But the guilt I feel and the things that drive me on to do what's on that list, because it impacts my staff, my members, my family. Everybody has a negative impact when I don't do what's on that list. So I don't do what's on that list for me. You know, and this is what everyone else has got to get their head into that space of. My 90 fucking minutes isn't about me. If you can't be asked doing your 90 minutes and you don't do it, you're a selfish fucker.
Yeah.
Because someone else is suffering somewhere because of you, because you can't be asked.
Yeah.
So why are you willing to let that happen? That's the bigger question with people. Isn't it about whether you can be asked or not? If you can't see the bigger picture that your business is serving something bigger than you, then that's where the mindset shift is wrong. Do you know what I mean? Because the to-do list and the 90 minutes and the getting out your fucking pit and getting on with stuff and whatever it is you need to do when you get home is just a formality.
Yeah.
The consequences of not doing it should drive you to do it. And that's true for absolutely everyone. So I want everyone to just remember that. I'm not going on John there.
No,
I think there's a good lesson in that for everyone with your 90 minutes and doing things. Think about who else is suffering every time you decide not to increase your touch points, not to do your 90 minutes. Who are the people down the line that aren't going on the nice holidays? Who's the people that when you retire are going to have to fucking pay for your funeral because you didn't have enough money in your bank to fucking pay for it yourself?
Yeah.
I know it sounds horrible, but this happens, mate. Do you know what I mean? This is the consequences of being lazy in life.
Yeah.
And you have a diminished life as a result, and the people around you have a diminished life as a result, you know. And to a degree, you know, it fucks me off when people say, oh, you know, I can't find time. You're choosing not to find time. You're choosing not to do it. You're not doing it because of any other reason other than you're just choosing not to. And I can't look people in the face around me because I am acutely aware of the impact my laziness would have on so many other people.
Yeah. 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 Both things internal to in your family and
everyone.
Yeah.
We've all got that responsibility. All of us.
Yeah.
You're the breadwinner. You're running this business. That sits on your fucking shoulders. You know, so, you know, get out your own head, get out the way of the tasks and just fucking get them done.
Yeah. And the last one, areas for support. When it comes to pricing with the portal is when it feels like he loses his motivation, as he knows it takes ages to complete something, others takes hours to do. So this is something he's asked me about and kindly pointed in the right direction. So I'll implement on the next quote. So like everybody, if they need that little bit just pushing over the line, I will always try to help when you've gone so far with it.
Something taking a long time doesn't matter. You get quicker at it, right? You just keep going. You keep trying. You keep going. You don't stop.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is, I suppose a good thing there is John's done a check-in. He's not done one for a while, so I'm pleased he's done one.
No, and you know what? He's doing all right. He just talks himself down. But that's the problem. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. You look at his statistics, he's doing okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So Matty from Plainsailing. So he's got 2 more supply and fits booked in, 2 designs in with the design team, and 2 quotes sent out.
Brilliant.
He's had a diagnosis for he's in an ES problem that he's been suffering with. It is incurable, but he's learning ways to manage it. The main one is being a very low sodium diet. So he's slowly starting to feel himself again and getting his 90-minute sessions done again. So that's him celebrating his win for there.
Brilliant.
I think the good thing there is he's finally had his diagnosis, because I know that's been hanging over his head and been stressing him out.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to own a problem and know why. As long as, like, say, we do get on with it and we get past things. You know, it's okay to own things and recognize them.
Yeah. 12 steps. I'm in and out when needed now. If I need a recap, I'll go and watch what I need. Scorecard. He uses Monday.com for his scorecard, but he hasn't done the cash flow for a while, but it's in the diary to be done at the end of this week, which was. So I'll ask him whether he's done it now, because he's coming. Personal growth. So he's had his diagnosis for his inner ear problem. He says he can't describe it other than being paralytically pissed for 16 hours at a time. I think he's put that twice. Areas for support. He's outgrown his little office space. And he had a little space was in the corner of the front room. No real space other than that. So where he can crack on with computer work. He's been getting up early so he can get the bits done. So I'm guessing without his family being around him. He's looking for an affordable office space, but in Norwich, this is rocking horse shit unless you want to pay £1,500 a month and have a warehouse attached to it. Advice on this would be helpful.
Regis, There's got to be a Regis office somewhere or some sort of serviced accommodation where they have like hot desks.
Yeah.
So, sort of co-working spaces as well. He wants us to search co-working. So a lot of co-working spaces have hot desks where you can pay like a fee, a couple of £100 a month maybe, where you can go in and use the facilities basically,
Yeah.
for a certain amount of time each week, which normally is enough.
Yeah, there's a couple of people in the academy that have got sort of those type of shared office spaces, and they work quite well. I think they are relatively inexpensive. One's taking it as far as actually being able to put a couple of little bit of samples in there as well. Nothing major, but
Yeah, I mean, looking at retail's cheap now, to be fair. Like small shops on the high street, because the town centres are dead, aren't they? So I don't know the area, but I wouldn't be looking at industrial areas. Me, if I was looking at something, I'd be probably looking on the retail street. There's loads of empty shops now, where you can pick them up for like 600, 700, 800 quid a month. Everybody in the academy that we know of that's got a little summit like that, they're not paying a lot for it, are they?
No, they're not.
They're not paying a lot. It's a few £100. So I would say to Matty there that he needs to make contact with a few people. Maybe you can point him in the direction. Who have got these setups. And, if we're thinking long term, maybe it's an option. We can support with samples and stuff, can't we? So, there's options there. Obviously, you can do the work yourself to kit it out. I know it's probably a few months of burning a bit of cash and time, but I feel like if he's in it for the long run, which he clearly is, I feel like that would be a better option. If he's going to do something like that, I think a small retail shop, costing him 700-800 quid a month max.
Yeah. Major concerns. So his disease has been kicking his ass. Every time I feel like getting pushing, it comes and sits me down for as long as I can take for the world to stop spinning. Then I get up and go and fit a kitchen or whatever I need to do. And by the time I get home, knackered and have to go straight to sleep. It's getting better now, and I have some way of managing it. This is not meant to sound like excuses. Life is life, and shit happens. I think what's the thing is, there's a couple of people that's got some illnesses at the moment, but what's inspiring to see is that they're finding ways to manage that.
Yeah.
It's
just
quite
see the bigger picture, mate. I think it's just the bigger picture is life goes on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Looking ahead, what's the plan? I'm still getting loads of leads like door worktop changes and bits of installs for the big sheds. He won't turn these down. Work in the book is money in the pocket. I have a feeling these people have asked other companies and they have said that they only do full installs. So I'm not sure what to do about it or even if it's a problem.
What's that? What, labour only jobs?
Yeah.
Well, you don't turn your nose up at work if you've got a gap in your diary, do you? The thing is, the only thing I would sort of pick up on what he's saying is obviously probably needs to look at his cash flow sheet. Again, the fact he's not done it isn't helpful. Because if he's doing the odd supply and fit job here and there, I think there might be an opportunity to look at that and go, can I spend a bit less time on the tools just in general?
Yeah.
And just increase my overheads to have more time off the tools. Do you get what I mean? So he's looking at the cash flow sheet going, right, I'm going to spend a bit more time off the tools. So we put more, because if he's doing supply and fit jobs here and there, then there's obviously profit flying around somewhere.
Yeah.
So if we're busy or we're poorly with, this air thing and it's running him into the ground a little bit, I'll be buying myself a week or two off work every now and then, and sort of balancing that time a little bit and saying, well, let's have a week off that week and let's concentrate on the business side of things for that week and, sort of work it a bit like that, just to give himself a pressure release valve as well.
Yeah. I think the key here is let's get close to the numbers and work out.
What I'm trying to say here basically is when shit like this happens, and I said this on the last stream, if you don't have profit, you can't give yourself a fucking break when you need it. How many times have I said to people, you will have a circumstance at some point where you get taken off the tools.
Yeah.
Right. And if you've got profit in the bank or you're making profit on some jobs enough to say, actually, I'm going to have a week off there, because using your profit to keep yourself fresh is also what you do.
Yeah.
You know, it's investing in yourself at the end of the day. You know, running yourself into the fucking ground isn't good for anyone. You know, like I've said before, the responsibility to get tasks done and the impact it has on the wider people around you is, if you're hanging out your ass and you can't get things done, that's as bad as not doing it because you're lazy.
Yeah.
What's the difference? If it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. So if there is some profit lying around, I would be spending it on taking my foot off the gas a little bit at the moment, you know, and sacrificing some labor only jobs and eating into my profits a bit more to get myself back on my feet and, you know, give myself a bit of time to think.
Yeah, I'll check in with Matty as well. Right, so last one. We've got Phil from Bluebell Kitchens. Phil came to his first event in January, which was good. Celebrating wins. Won a large doors and drawers job, which came from a recommendation from a previous carpentry client. I'm sure they write these sometimes just as tongue twisters for me. I've sent out our first bedroom immediate wall quote to a customer and was doing some carpentry for. Quote sent for some remedial work in a kitchen following a flood, and I'm currently working on a quote for a fully bespoke wine cellar. So there's lots going on there, which is good.
Yeah. As long as there's profit in it.
12 steps transition. Currently working on step 6 and not finding it too bad in general. My main problems are understanding the computer side of things.
Well, it's going to be like fucking snakes and ladders tonight, because I'm going to tell him in a minute he's going to go back to step 4. Anyway, we'll come on to that in a bit, mate.
Yeah.
Academy snakes and ladders.
That should be the new thing, that, shouldn't it? I've just started using the cash flow sheet and wish I'd used it sooner. It's a very handy tool.
Good.
Scorecard I haven't got to yet, but hopefully soon.
Not hopefully soon. Put a date in the diary and fucking get it done. Stop waiting for it to be perfect.
Yeah. Personal growth. My only personal growth so far is it has been an enlarged waistband due to Christmas. And we have a lot of family birthdays and my own in January, so lots of food, but we'll start looking after ourselves better in February.
It's not going to happen, is it?
I could write this what you would say now. Along with meals, we are networking more so growth in that area. So that's good. Areas for support. The area I need help with is Monday, as I've looked at it a couple of times, but honestly, I have no idea what I need to do with this. Any advice would be great.
Okay. Well, he needs to reach out with specifics in his WhatsApp group. Academy Plus, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously Academy Plus dashboards. Academy Plus is on my list for the next couple of weeks to improve all the lessons in there and do a proper onboarding for it, so it's clear what to do when you're in there. It's sort of been the poor relation, although we have been pushing Academy Plus a lot, because a lot of things are being updated in the background. I've been hesitant to put new lessons in there because I know they're going to be out of date very shortly. So everybody's got my commitment that within the next 2 to 3 weeks, the Academy Plus lessons will be a lot better. But if you've got any queries in the meantime, what I would suggest you do is record a Loom video explaining what isn't making sense and send it into your WhatsApp group so we can have a look at it for you.
Yeah. Sounds like Phil might need to have the upgraded version for a longer than 5-minute video. On the way you're saying it might be a long video. Fully joking, Phil.
We'll see.
Major concerns. No major concerns other than quite reserved and quiet and lack of social confidence. But my wife is really helping me in this area, and I know I'm getting better at it. So that's good. Leaking ahead. Keeping on the gas and keep going and learning as much as I can. You're supporting all our areas is invaluable, and we are very grateful.
Good.
So that's all the check-ins. That was quite good.
Yeah, some good points in there. Touch points is coming up again and again. 90 minutes linking to the touch points is something that we'll sort of make a bigger deal of moving forward.
But I think the fact that people are using the same language, that means that they're taking it away from the event and really pushing, everybody's it's quite funny because everybody who comes to an event normally will drop a check-in even though we don't ask them to. And it shows the power of the events, I think.
I think everybody's just got to get in the headspace of understand the sales process inside out and know everything about the 12 steps. Yes, there's a lot of stuff in there. And yes, you've got a lot of videos of me. And I know it's probably arduous to do so, but there's a lot of knowledge in this bald head and it's very good. There's much you can transfer into your head, the better. Do you know what I mean? That is basically what you're after. You're after a download of what I know into your head. That the more you can grab out of my head, the better. And I'm trying to make the academy as good as possible, where people commit to just watching the videos and just keep soaking it in and make notes and come back to it. And just, this is the education that's going to change your life. You know, this is a very nuanced business model. It's very, very nuanced in terms of it operates in a very narrow lane. And that's why when people don't commit to it properly and they're like, oh, I'll fuck around with this. Oh, they've got that opinion and it just doesn't work for them. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Even people that have been here for a long time, you know, people always say, oh yeah, I know what to do. I just need to do it. Fucking hell, I've had a quid for every time I've heard that, you know, but do you know what to do? Do you know what to do? That's the key thing. And half the time, I actually don't believe that they do know what to do.
Well,
because they're not actually as wet. If we had a quiz and said to people, right, what's step 5? What is it?
Yeah, well, even I would have to check sometimes. And
Yeah. I'm not asking you, but I'm just saying, like, a quiz.
Yeah.
There should be a quiz that says, right, what's in step 3? Everybody should know off pat what's in step 1 to 12 of the academy.
Well, that leads me really nicely into one of my gripes that you did kind of touch on it at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, go on then. Get your axe out.
Right. So everybody should have got one of these. Yeah, it's the workbook for the 12 steps. And they get sent to you when your website goes live. This comes out to you. And one of the major things that's...
Well, cue all the messages now saying, I've not had mine. So if you've not had it, don't comment below saying you've not had it. Go to your WhatsApp group and ask for it there. Because if you put comments below this video, it's not going to be... We're not going to go around, oh yeah, we'll send it to you. Just, if you haven't had it or you haven't got one and you want one, go to your WhatsApp group now and request one there.
Because the main thing that's inside here is also, it says, I've seen the videos, I've watched the videos, I understand it, and room to leave a little bit of notes. And at the back, there's room for notes and stuff. I can't stress enough, like, it's all right watching them. And yeah, I know with it, we say, yeah, watch them all, but you have to, at some point, understand.
Just open up that book where you've got the checklist in the back.
I'll take this one off as well.
Because in the back of that book, all the checklists are there as well that tells you what to do on a weekly, daily, monthly basis. You know, so you've got everything there by week.
So actually, you know, monthly success checklist and everything. So everything's covered in this. It's such, you know, it's so important that you just get your head around it. And then you've got, you know, the standards at the beginning. It's just reflection time.
It's the Bible. That is the Bible of everybody's success. And I'll say it dead bluntly, if you're an academy member that thinks you're serious about this and you haven't got that, you're not doing it right.
No.
You know, you're not.
Yeah, so if anybody's not got it, just let us know and we will get one out to you. But it needs to be, I'm doing my 90 minutes. I've got my book here next to me.
Because that book will tell you what to do in your next 90-minute session. It'll tell you that'll steer your scorecard. It'll tell you to do your cash flow sheet and everything. That should be on everyone's desk all the time.
Yeah.
And every time they're not sure about something, everyone should know what's in step 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 12. They should know the 7 steps of the sales process. You'll think about the whole thing is you've got 7 steps of the sales process and 12 steps of the 12 steps. You've just got to know what's in there.
And people need to remember about using the search functions, not only on the academy, but in the YouTube channel as well. There's that much content and videos that we've done over 5 years we've been doing this. You know, there's never not a bit of content that answers your question. You just need to be able to search for it. And the amount of times people ask me a question, even new people coming in who go, oh, is it right for me, the academy? I can find something that's relevant to them. And I only do what you do, what everybody else does. It's just knowing where the information is, because it's boring keep repeating myself. So I'd rather let them be bored watching you repeat yourself.
Well, I've done quite a good job of boring everyone to death recently, because I've updated a lot of the videos in the academy, which I'm going to run through with the guys now. So if you're done,
yeah, so I'm done. Well
press
done.
your red button and piss off. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Right. So what we need to do now is I want to do a screen share with you. So well done for the check-ins anyway, but let's get into this 1 minute. So, right, I've got my list here of things I want to go through with you first. So before we actually go into that, Inner Circle is going to be, we had the first meeting last week for Inner Circle, and it was mentioned at the meeting that we should revisit our declarations, because remember the declarations you do right at the beginning of the academy. It was interesting because we went round 2 or 3 people. We didn't do it with everyone. We probably should have done, but it was really interesting that everybody in the room who had done their declarations probably a year or 2 ago, for the people that were in the room, maybe longer. They practically achieved everything that was on their declarations. When they first joined, they went, "This is what I really want to achieve." Right, there was a couple of things that weren't, but 85% of what was on those check-ins was actually achieved, and they hadn't even realised it. And this is the thing about your success: you're not even realising sometimes what you've done. Like I've just said earlier to Lee, even turning up to an event is a bit of progress, because there would have been a time in the past where you wouldn't have even done that, because you would have gone, "I don't see the point in that." But when your business brain just starts developing a little bit, your behavior starts to change so subtle over time that you don't realize how much change has happened. So when you go into Inner Circle from now on, the declaration will be done again. So basically, the first few lessons will be locked down, just like the old times, where you'll send us a declaration again for a bit of fun and just to see where we're up to. It's not heavy, it's not deep, but we just want to recalibrate and then push on. So that's sort of the first thing I wanted to mention. Now, the 12 steps, there are quite a few changes in the 12 steps. I'm nearly done with them, but we're not quite there yet. So I want to give you an update on where we're up to, so everything's clear. Okay, so let's do a screen share. So can you see that? Yeah, right. So in the welcome section, we have got this new lesson here, revealed how the academy actually makes you successful. This is a new lesson, and this is talking about customer touch points. So you're going to hear this a lot. Now, for anyone new coming in, they'll obviously need to bypass this lesson. But anybody who's been here, well, everybody really needs to go and watch this, because it's so on point with what we're talking about at the minute about the touch points. So please put that in your diary to go and watch that video first. Yeah, so that one first. Let's shut that one down. And then obviously what we mentioned last week is the quoting. So giving us your rates, so sending us your rates here, and then a few new lessons on the trade portal, which again, if you're struggling with the trade portal or something doesn't make sense, put it in there. And then you'll notice here that there's a need help button. You're going to notice that this button is on the right hand side now all the time. So it's in the lessons and it's always on the right hand side. So if you click on that, it takes you through to the support that you need. Now, we are going to be pushing everybody a bit more into using forms like this for general business questions and tailored support. So whether you need help with the 12 steps, the sales process, the CRM, whatever it might be, we're trying not immediately, but we are going to start moving more towards using those forms instead of just dumping shit in the WhatsApp groups, because messages are getting missed. Like I said earlier, and that's not the level of service that I want. So this isn't about putting distance in. This is about making sure that when you've got a concern, a genuine one, and you need help, you're going to get it as fast as possible and in the best possible way. Because when things are just dropped into WhatsApp groups, especially if we're picking them up on the go, the responses could be better, and I'm picking up on this going, actually, I want a higher standard of help and support available in the academy. That doesn't mean that WhatsApp won't be available. Yes, it will. You can always drop things into WhatsApp. But if you've got a proper business challenge or anything that you're struggling with in the 12 steps, I would always recommend that you take a bit of time to reflect on what that problem is and then use the help and support buttons that are going to be available They'll be available here in the portal, and they'll also be installed into the app. So it will be one button for help on everything that you could possibly need help on. You just go into it, press help, select the part of the academy that you're stuck on, the exact lesson, and then that will come through to the team, including myself. So we'll all be sort of monitoring the board where these inquiries will come from. Then you'll get a response. Now that's not in yet properly, but it is in here. We'll still respond to you in that manner. So this method has been in there for quite a long time. It's just that we're going to move primarily to this instead of WhatsApp chat and all that stuff. Again, you can always drop things into the WhatsApp for general chat and general stuff, but we do want to encourage proper business challenges, because obviously then you got your full check-ins. So again, not every check-in gets onto the stream. Some aren't suitable, and some business challenges will be used as content on the streams and stuff like that. So the struggles that you're having, most other people are having too. So it's just important to remember that. And, you know, again, it's a better practice to be in as well than just dumping it into WhatsApp. So we can make sure that as the academy grows, that's what we're really looking at here, is as the academy grows, messages don't start getting missed, because it's already a bit of a trend sometimes, as we've probably all experienced in the design chats, especially when we've been pissing around with them WhatsApp groups quite a bit recently. So my apologies if you've been any delays there, which I'm sure there have been. But we are moving systems around quite a bit there. It will get better, but as the academy grows as well, I don't want the same things to happen there. So again, we'll just sort of be aware that there's going to be a couple of changes. Okay, so that's just a bit on the help and support button there, and then you've got your step 3 costs. So if you've not yet been and give us your rates, remember these rates get uploaded into the trade portal specifically for your business, invaluable. So make sure you've done that in step 3. Step 4 is also different now. So case studies and blogs are still the same. You can still log into the back end of your website and do them whenever you want. Them lessons are still relevant. Search engine optimization has been changed completely. That is a new lesson. And KBBA Academy Plus is now a new lesson completely as well. Bearing in mind, when we first launched Academy Plus, we used to have the option of you doing DIY SEO, getting an agency to do it, and then we launched Academy Plus sort of in the background quite a while ago now. But the hassle that we've had from external agencies and people trying to do it themselves, which, by the way, have never garnished any result whatsoever. They've been a fucking nightmare. So we're basically stopping it. If you want SEO on your website, it's Academy Plus or nothing. Because, again, we only make decisions based on data. We don't make decisions based on opinion or theory. We've given the 3 options for over 2 years. We've seen how it went, and external agencies and people doing it themselves has been nothing short of a disaster and an absolute time thief and a money thief for everybody involved. Yet the Academy Plus people are absolutely flying. So therefore, why would we leave the other 2 options on the table when there's a low cost, low hassle and option there for you to take advantage of? And that's that. So go and look at the SEO search engine optimization lesson. Even if you are Academy Plus or not, I'd still go and watch it. And if you are, either way, whether you're in Academy Plus or not, I'd still go and watch those lessons, because there's going to be just things in there that it's a refresher at the end of the day. It's reminding you of what it's all about, and there's no harm in doing that. So that's quite a big change in step 4. So step 6 is also quite a big change. So what we got in step 6 is online profiles are still the same. Again, usual shit. Which trusted trader? Obviously, the partnership is now in full swing. So you have a new lesson basically there where we're just basically explaining what it's all about. And this is for people that haven't yet become Which Trusted Traders. Obviously, I'm a massive advocate of being a Which Trusted Trader, and that has got nothing to do with the fact that we're partners. We don't get any financial reward or anything from Which for people joining. We just know that being a Which Trusted Trader helps people convert sales, and it betters your life, and it makes your business look a lot more credible. Being on Bark, Checker Trade and all them don't carry any weight with consumers whatsoever. Being a Which Trusted Trader carries mega weight, and that is obviously what we're always trying to do, is make you look good and get you into more sales and more profit and the better life for you and your family. That is obviously why we're here. Okay. So that's it in the 12 steps. I think for now, the rest of it is sort of still okay. There will be some updates to step 10 on the customer journey. There will be some tweaks over the next few weeks, but in this part of the academy here, the first sort of 6 steps, recently, obviously, we had all the social media updated before Christmas. There's shitloads of stuff in there now. Step 4's had a big update. Step 3's had a big update. Step 2 has not really had a massive update, but again, it doesn't need one, so that's why it's not had one. And then the welcome bit revealed. So you've got quite a few new bits in the 12 steps here. These are fairly large upgrades, okay? So put some time aside to go and have a look at those. So the next one I want to talk to you about is membership services. So in here, you can go and change your membership levels. You can add services, take services away. You know, you've seen that before. There's the terms and conditions in there for the website and Academy Plus, which is boring as hell. But if you really want to go and have a look, you can do. But the main reason for me mentioning this tonight is that we've got this new section now on piss off. You'll have to just trust me on that. Let me just go back, and I hate it when it does this. 1 minute. Preview. So membership services. Here we go. Right, so let's shut that one down. I'm not going to go into the lessons because if you just see it crashes, it's shit. It's because I'm in admin preview mode. It doesn't like it. It thinks I'm trying to log in. So basically, you've got a new section here called personal help and support. This is when this is basically when you're struggling, and you know, people tend to reach out for help sometimes when it's too late, and we want to try and sort of catch people a bit earlier. So that is an introduction to the section, which again, I would go and watch. This is the 5 stages that we all go through. Those of you that were at the event in October, I went through the 5 stages of the Academy journey. This piece of content is basically that, talking about those 5 stages, which again, it's good to know what the 5 stages are, but it's better to sort of look at it if you're on a bit of a downer, so you can sort of understand why you're on a bit of a downer instead of sort of, you know, looking at it for the sake of it. So I think focusing on your touch points is always going to be way more beneficial and more positive than focusing on, you know, reasons why you're struggling at the end of the day. But the 5 stages we all go through is there in case you are having a bit of a tough time. And then obviously there is another one here called Navigating Stress and Crisis in Business. And this is where Lee wants to talk to you a little bit about, you know, managing things that happen at home. You know, that life at home is always going to be there, but so is your business, or hopefully so is your business. So, you know, it's really important to keep going when times get tough. So fairly big updates there in the Academy. I don't think there's anything else to tell you. So put a bit of time to side, go and watch them videos. Just to finish off, I've noticed that a lot of people are obviously signing up for Witch. Again, there is an offer when you're signing up for Witch. If you go to the Witch lesson, there's a Witch lesson in, I think, step 6. Step 6 in the 12 steps. But there is also a Witch module in the Academy itself. The same lesson is in both of them. And in there, you'll find a special offer to join Witch. It's effectively, at the moment, basically the first 6 months is free. So again, I would highly recommend that as many of you as possible go and do that as soon as possible as well, because the process to get on board can take a while. So the sooner you do it, the better. That's fine. Membership services I spoke to you about. So a few of you, because you're all excited about this new Witch partnership, which obviously we are as well. We haven't really announced it yet. You may have noticed that Academy's not put any posts out, neither as supply services. We haven't yet properly announced this partnership, and that has been done on purpose because, you know, we're here for the long time. You know, we're not here to start, you know, shouting about it. We're here to do things properly, and getting you guys bedded in and updating these bits in the Academy was where we needed to be before we started pushing it out. So the new Academy website is live, www.kbbacademy.co.uk. Go and have a look at that. It's a really good website. It really does represent the Academy and the members in a really good light. But something that Witch have requested before I sign off for tonight, when you're doing your social media posts for Witch, So some of you, for instance, have been doing posts about being a Which Trusted Trader. So Which have actually contacted me and said, when the guys are doing it, will they tag us? So follow the Which brand. So if you're a Which Trusted Trader, follow the Which brand and make sure that when you are doing these posts, you are tagging Which in them too. And what Which will do, amazingly, what they've said is their social media team will look out for it. They'll know you're a KBB business because they'll know who our guys are, and they will basically give you a shout back. This will be big for your SEO and your socials. So make sure that you are tagging Which when you talk about Which. Don't overdo it. Don't do it every week, but do one now if you want, and then do one in another month's time, and just sort of drop it in every now and then. Build that rapport up with Which, because at the end of the day, it's all right us being a Which partner, but all the Which partnership really means is that we can use their logo against ours. It's just, that's all it really means. And yes, they're willing to put weight behind what we're doing, but ultimately you're the endorsed trader. It's you you've got a relationship with them as well. It's not like you now communicate with them through us. We're in it together. We're an endorsed partner. You're an endorsed trader. So it's not like, you still need to try and build a relationship with them. And if you can do that on social media, and if your customers see that Which are talking back to you, I mean, fucking hell, come on. This is like gold dust. Go and get it done. Okay, so if you've got any questions, queries, don't forget, you can go in the app. So on the KB Spice Services mobile app, you can go in there. You can go to Academy, put your check-ins in there. You don't need to do full check-ins. You can do single business questions and challenges, which will come back to you privately or on the stream, whatever. If it's, whatever, however you want us to do it, it's fine. But again, we're off to a good start this year. As Lee said, everyone's buzzing. The Which partnership we haven't started shouting about yet. We haven't really started turning the gas up yet on 2026 ourselves, mainly because, and not frustratingly, but I said to the team, I need to make sure that all the members are okay first. I need to make sure before we start ramping things up, I need to make sure the 12 steps is up to date. The new membership services is right. Everyone's, obviously, we've got to get this WhatsApp systems changing. There's the changes in the design service. So I want to make sure that your world is settled before we start pushing on. Yeah. And I'll never do anything to sort of jeopardize your stability. Okay. So that's that. It's been a good one, that. I enjoyed that. It's nice having Lee on. I hope you're enjoying the format. Let us know what you think. Please give us feedback. We're always listening, okay? But we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Don't forget to get your check-ins in before a week Monday at 1 o'clock so they can make it onto the clinic, because we do have a cut-off point. Okay, so do that. Take care of yourselves. See you soon. Good night. Bye-bye.